Am I the asshole? For calling my sister-in-law pathetic during a family dinner? My fiancé, Chris, is the youngest in his family with two older siblings, a brother and a sister. I also 24M have one sister who is 9 years younger than me. I don't put much stock into the whole your birth order determines your entire personality thing, but I do think it might enhance traits we already have. I've always naturally been a pretty quiet, even-tempered, nurturing kind of guy. I think I would still be all those things regardless. Having a little sister when I did just amplified them. Meanwhile, Chris was very much the baby of his family. He wasn't spoiled, just taken care of in the same way my sister is. I've known Chris's family since we were 16. I've never personally had any problems with them, but I did witness a few fights between him and his sister over the years. The fights were always about Chris being a golden child and either getting more privileges attention than she did, or getting similar privileges earlier in life. I stayed out of it as this was between the two of them. I didn't see the point in stepping into family dynamics like that, especially since I would have been a minor at the time arguing with a woman in her 20s. This past Thursday night, we left on a weekend trip with his family. We left pretty late Thursday. We had already been driving for a few hours, and Chris gets hot uncomfortable pretty easily, so he wasn't feeling too great. His dad went through a drive-through and as we were sitting in the parking lot eating, I asked if there was anything I could do to make him more comfortable. He had forgotten to unbuckle his own seatbelt, so I did it for him and just told him to relax and enjoy his food. His sister made some sort of comment about him getting coddled, but I took it as a joke and brushed past it. Fast forward to last night, while we were out at dinner, it was uncharacteristically warm in the little restaurant we chose. Chris had worn a hoodie with nothing underneath while I was wearing a t-shirt, so we went into the bathroom to switch. It wasn't a big deal until, when we sat back down, his sister said, "Looks like you're still getting the golden boy treatment, huh?" I'm usually not a confrontational person, but I was annoyed enough by the multiple comments. I said it's a little pathetic that you're almost 30 and you're still rehashing the same argument you had when Chris and I were 16 years old. She ended up going to wait in the car while we finished our meal. It's been tense since then, and while no one has brought it up, I'm not sure if I overstepped. Am I the asshole? Edit: the two examples I gave are not regular occurrences. As I said in a comment, to me these are just instances of me being considerate of my acts of service is big for me when it comes to expressing my love. He does the same for me, as we all should be doing for our partners. Even if you doted on your fiancé, why does his jealous sister have to make negative comments? I would have said something. Not the asshole. If Chris knows he gets hot, why isn't he layering? You obviously love him, but from an outside perspective he does seem a bit coddled from the two examples you gave. ESH. You for calling her out publicly, her for making the comment. I've seen the comments where you say these are not normal occurrences, but it really comes across like Chris is so used to being looked after, it's become instinctual to both of you. If he gets hot and bothered so easily, he would be the first to unbuckle his seatbelt so as to get comfortable, and he certainly wouldn't wear a hoodie with nothing underneath it. Look, if you are happy to look after him and he likes being looked after, great. But it doesn't mean sis isn't right. I'm curious, did she comment in a bitter way or it's normal teasing between siblings? ESH if it's the former. You're the asshole if the latter. You're the asshole. In the two examples you provided, she had every right to bust his balls. You don't need someone else to unbuckle you at 24, and if you're dumb enough to wear a hoodie without anything underneath on a hot day, then it's your own fault and you deal with it. I think you've crossed the line from nurturing to infantilizing your partner. Let me get this straight: you unbuckled a 24-year-old's seatbelt for him? And he can't dress himself in accordance with the temperature. You're not being nurturing, you're allowing him to remain a baby. This is kind of weird. I wouldn't say you're an R, but this seems bizarre. Acts of service are huge for me. But they're quiet and between us. If my partner snapped at my sibling, I would not be happy. It sounds like your boyfriend needs to be more independent or more vocal about disagreements with his siblings so you don't get involved. Family is complicated. Don't get in the middle of it. ESH, your fiancé needs your help wearing a shirt and unbuckling his seatbelt and you're trying to argue that you don't coddle him. Soft, you're the asshole. Their dynamic is between them. Stay out of it. Also, how is your partner so unable to take care of himself? Not the asshole. I'm glad you do sweet things for each other, and I'm sad for an awful lot of folks here. Your sil can take what she dishes out or stop dishing it out. Is it as pathetic as feeling you need to cater to a BF you apparently feel is unable to have the foresight to appropriately dress himself or unbuckle his own seatbelt? Acts of service are one thing. Reinforcing behaviors of helplessness is another. Your interaction with him makes it sound like you're dealing with a special needs child. I was waiting for your description of how you cut up his food for him. The sister may be snarky, but her observation about the relationship is on point. He's an adult and you are enabling baby behavior. Stop it. Not the asshole. I think it's sweet that you do things like that for your boyfriend. And that he does them for you in return. My husband and I also do these kinds of things for each other because that's what you do when you love someone. You got sick of listening to his sister shit. And she is too old to be behaving that way. If she is going to make you witness her sniping at her brother, then you have every right to say something. People telling you to stay out of it don't understand that she is bringing you into it by doing it around you all the time. That shit is annoying. These comments are crazy lol. Do none of you do anything nice for your partners? OP, you're not the asshole. Not the asshole at all. You have heard her sniping at him for years because she is jealous. You defended your fiancé. He is your family and you feel like protecting him. I think you overprotect him by taking off his seatbelt and all that, but fiancés do kooky things sometimes. Not the asshole. Whether you coddle your husband or not is none of her business, that's between you and him. She's way overstepping and she deserves to be called out on it. Next time you can be even less polite. Eventually she'll stop doing it. Not the asshole. Your fiancé was feeling ill, so you helped him out like any partner would. I get easily overheated, so I get how out of sorts it can make you feel. He didn't ask you to unbuckle his seatbelt, you just noticed and thought he'd feel better with it unbuckled as any loving partner would. You switched shirts with him because you knew he'd feel better, as any loving partner would. And yes, after years of hearing the special treatment crap, you called it out. That's not coddling, it's looking out for a partner who isn't feeling well. Was something stopping Chris from unbuckling his own seatbelt? Does he not know to wear a t-shirt under a hoodie? It does sound like he's kind of a golden boy who gets things done for him that he's perfectly capable of doing on his own. You're the asshole. I think it weird how conscious Reddit is of mental, emotional disorders when it comes to females, but this guy Chris is getting shitted on for having trouble thinking. There have been numerous times that I've been preoccupied psychologically and oblivious to my own physical discomfort affecting my mood. And my God, sometimes I'm incredibly thoughtless about my clothing choices, but I've never been treated poorly and insulted over it. Not the asshole. She made a snarky comment and doesn't get to do shocked Pikachu face because his spouse stood up for him. You're the asshole to yourself. You're now a parent to Chris lol. His sister is right, he is being babied and it's a little weird. It's difficult to make a judgment without knowing the full context of the situation. However, it's generally important to communicate with respect and understanding, especially during family gatherings. If you felt provoked or upset, it might have been more constructive to express your feelings in a calm and non-confrontational manner. Remember, everyone makes mistakes and it's never too late to apologize or make amends if you feel you may have acted inappropriately. It's also beneficial to have open discussions about any issues that may be causing tension, to prevent such situations in the future.